Hi everyone, Dead Battery here, and thank you for joining me on my channel. So today's video is going to be an update on the PlayStation 5, but with an added bonus of a controller. So I did want to get a video out of an update on the PlayStation 5 for everyone because it was such a popular video and because I wanted to see if I could fix it. I also got a controller from one of my friends who is an avid PS5 player, and his controller is just doing the wobble for everything. And he plays a lot of games that need that better stability, where I tend to play some more RPGs. So if my character kind of goes off for a second, I'm like, I don't mind. But he is definitely playing some of the shooter games that he needs that accuracy. So he gave them to me so I could try to fix them. For the PlayStation 5, I swapped out the battery and it worked. And it worked for a couple days. And I thought I was in the clear. I even added one of the M2 hard drives to it because I figured if it was going to work, I wanted to have enough memory on it. However, after about a week, it just wouldn't turn on, and it did the same thing. Beep, no lights, that's it. So I swapped power cords, and it turned on for a night, and then that was it again, and now it just won't turn on at all. So I did a little research, and I found this gentleman named Justin Mahaffey, and he's got a video up on YouTube. It's about 2 months old. And it's called the Ultimate PS5 Diagnostic Guide. And he's using a UART, a UART. All of this I've never heard of and didn't know what it was. But after watching his video, it was this piece of equipment you could use to diagnose a PS5. You just solder down some wires. But it was also usable on computers. And since I'm looking to the future to see what else I can do, I thought I might as well give it a go. I could use the part on computers and see if I could figure out what was wrong with this PS5. So let's take apart this PlayStation 5 controller. Let's add some new mechanics to it to help it with stick drift, hopefully, as well as diagnose this PlayStation 5. Here is the controller, and the PlayStation 5 controller is slightly different. You have to pop off this black front cover. It's best to get it at the corners because underneath each of them is a screw. And you just kind of lift them up over the thumbsticks and it will pop out of place. Once you get those two screws off, you have to pop off two of the top buttons. Be careful, I did send one flying, but you cannot get this all off without popping those off because there are two more screws underneath. After the screws are all out, they all are the same size, you won't get them confused. You can take the battery out, and there's two more screws on the side and then one underneath the battery holder. Then there's two cables on the side, one on the top and one on the bottom, and that will help you fully release the motherboard that the thumbsticks are on. I did forget to get this top ribbon, don't forget it. Once the motherboard's out, you can pop off the top of the thumbsticks. Just two more screws up top that hold down this white piece. As well as one more clear piece. And then it will just lift out. There are two more screws at the top that hold the back motherboard to the front button. Be careful with this ribbon. You do have to get it through this little hole and you don't want to rip it. The buttons aren't that bad, but there's definitely some Eli hair. I'm going to take everything out and just give it a once over. I'm also going to clean out the thumbsticks because sometimes these controllers are just dirty, and that is the reason for the shake or the wobble or the drift. So now that everything is clean, you can just put it all back together. I am not going to fully put it together, but I'm going to put enough together that I can test it. This is what it looks like after I cleaned it, and it's still having a lot of shake. So I decided to buy these stick drift fix boards. They're from Helder Game Tech. So they go right here on one side and all of the area lines up. You just have to solder everything down. The only issue I'm running into right now is the fact that the PlayStation 5 has these two wires hanging off the side. So I'm kind of getting this bubble effect instead of laying flat. I don't know if that's going to affect it. Let me know in the comments if you've used these before and if you don't need to put them down as far. The other side is exactly the same. The wires are in a slightly different spot and it's a little more closer. So just be careful when you're going around and soldering this. I don't feel like this takes a lot of extra skill. It's just making sure you're not burning anything else on the board. And with this, because the wires go underneath, you can't take them off, solder down, and then re-put the wires on. Once these are in place and I put it back together, I can hook it back up to the gamepad tester on my computer and give it a go. With the parts that I just soldered down, you put a screwdriver on top of them and you slowly turn it until you get that centered. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to work, and I don't know until I give it back to him and test it because I don't have a working PS5 right now. Now that this is done with, we can work on the PlayStation 5. So this is the UART, and from the gentleman that I watched on YouTube, Dustin, he soldered his wires down to the spots that are marked ground, RX, and TX. So I decided to go this route for right now. I made sure I kept all the wires together, and I kind of made a little circle and put the circle over top the pin at the bottom and then just soldered it down. So the program that was suggested by Dustin is called Console Service Tool, and this is what it looks like, and they have a guide on the inside that tells you where you need to solder down the wires on your PlayStation 5. And you don't need to take it all apart, you just need to take the top half off of it. So there's a ground, then you're supposed to solder the TX to the RX spot here and your RX wire to the TX spot. So this is what the program looks like when you start it. I found the reference points under the test point reference, and then I read a little bit of the getting started, but I didn't go fully through it, which in a second you're gonna see I should have. So I plugged it in my computer and I hit the test button, and this is what I kept getting. No matter what I did, I kept getting that something about Bluetooth, disconnect the power, wait 5 seconds, connect the power. And I could not figure out what was going wrong. So I rewatched his video a couple times and I realized it wasn't detecting the UART. Then I looked over the guide again and found this. So this is saying that you have to do a mod for compatibility with devices requiring a 3.3 volt on a TX/RX line, such as the PlayStation 5's Southboard. It's definitely small, so I cut some more wires. I did make them bigger than needed, only because in case I needed to shift something, I had enough wire for my own shaky hands. So it said to connect a wire to this pin at the end and connect it to the middle spot here. Then it said to connect a cable from the 6th leg on this chip to the back part. Then you're supposed to take this yellow jumper and bend it so that those pins are touching. So I did the same thing. I plugged it in, I hit the button, and I got this. Operation canceled. So once again, I'm kind of stuck and not too sure. I did rewatch Dustin's videos. He had a lot of issue with this, and his wires were crossed. So I did the same thing. I swapped wires and I did it again, and I still got the operation canceled. So I got a controller working, or hopefully working. It's got to be tested, and I wasn't able to get this program working, and I'm not too sure if I put something in the wrong spot or what I'm doing wrong. So please let me know in the comments if you notice something that I did wrong or I'm misunderstanding, because this is still me learning and understanding components and parts that I've never used before and I've never seen, and I honestly don't even know what some of this stuff does. So please let me know if you see something, because I'd really like to run a couple tests and just see what pops up. So I am a little disappointed that I wasn't able to show you any error codes, because maybe at that point we could figure out what was going wrong with it. I still had a lot of fun just soldering down all these different pieces and actually giving it a go on a new program, but I am disappointed that I just couldn't get anything to work. So in the end, I still have a broken PlayStation 5, but hopefully I can get it working here shortly. So sorry this update is not as exciting. Hopefully soon I can get you another update. Let me know in the comments if this is something you've used before and what you use it for, because I'm assuming it can be used for different things than just the PlayStation 5. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!